Good morning. This is Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. It is your responsibility to do your own due diligence, but we are here to help you make your money work harder than you do. This is Bitcoin. It's in a trading range. Right now, we have Bitcoin and we're selling longer dated options to increase the flow of money. So that's what we're doing. Ethereum is doing about the same, all range bound. So that is the story there. Let us go to our word of the day. Our word of the day is phosphene. Phosphene is a ring or spot of light produced by pressure on the eyeball and direct stimulation of the visual system other than by light. Holly rubbed her eyes when she woke up, caused phosphenes to form. So there we go. Let us go over to our S&P 500 map. This is what is happening. I'm not sure if this is actually functioning. I'm going to pause for a second. I'm not sure if you were able to see the cryptocurrency charts, but because there's a big orange box around it, but we are back. The orange box has been removed. Here's what the heat map is. Amazon, up slightly. Google, it looks like it's doing the best of all the big cap tech stocks. Tesla is up slightly. Financials are doing well. Everything else is a mixed bag. So that is the story with that one. Let us go to this is our advertisement of the day. If you spent a lifetime building up your wealth, this is something you might want to look into. It never goes down when the market goes down, but it goes up when the market goes up. It goes up and up. The steps beats index investing by about 5% per year. That's a big amount. And currently there are bonuses anywhere from 10 to 45%. They're always changing. So if you want to learn more about that, please check in with me. If you want to build a lifetime of income with no worries, that is a place to be. So let us go to our charts. So this is something that we're kind of looking. I'm not sure if this is wedging. Wedging is when a stock moves up in price on low volume. It's not really moving up a lot. It's in a pretty tight range. So we're going to continue to watch this. It's up 2.75% today. Before we get going, I'm going to go through our ETF of the day. ETF of the day is up 2.31, is the China Internet ETF. ASPN is their stock of the day. Look at that baby rise. It's up 15%. It's definitely cleared of the 50-day. And this is a double bottom. Looks like it's about almost ready to clear the double bottom. And it looks like relative strength rating against the S&P 500. It looks like it's pretty soon getting ready to cross the previous high. So that is the story with ASPN. And our ETF of the day, oops, in letters. This is our ETF of the day in healthcare, artificial intelligence, clears of $50. So that's all we got to show there. And now let us go to our dollar index. Dollar index is dropping down 0.39%. Let's see if silver is moving up. It is. It pulled back to this kind of bottom trend line. We thought it might go down to 23, but it went down to 24.31 on this bounce. That may have been a pretty good place to buy. So it's filled the gap, and it gapped up here. So this continues to rise. We'll see if it gets above the 50-day moving average. Silver is a pretty good long-term play. Listened it all before. If it gets up into this area, recommend taking 10% off on a strong pullback around here. Recommend adding about 15% to the portfolio and just wash and repeat. So take a look at gold. Gold gaps up. It's at all-time highs right now. Cleared all of this. Cleared this area here. It's 231, 229.75 was a breakout. Good copper index. Copper is bouncing off the 200-day moving average, has cleared this gap up here on this pullback. Take a look at a couple of our favorite copper miners. This is bouncing off of the 20-day moving average. Tech is holding pretty steady there. Let's go to our 10-year bond yields. Pulls back to the declining 10-day moving average off 0.92%. It's dropped from 4.5 to 3.89% interest. Look at the 20-year, drops to 3.04% interest. It's off 0.78%. Take a look at the volatility or VIX index. Continues to drop, hit this 65.73 and is dropping to the 200-day moving average. It's down to 14.74, but it had been right around 11.84, so the volatility has dropped. Something you want to see as we move through the earnings reports. This is what brings all the volatility, that and the Japanese yen trade, S&P 500. It did have a breakout right here. Many thought or worried about this. Is as we come into the worst part of the year, it is still something to continue to watch and be concerned about. Was kind of a wedging pattern over here. See, the volume was declining, index was going up. That's wedging. RSP, you want to see things go up on higher volume. It did reach a little bit higher volume here on the equal weighted S&P 500, up 0.21% today. Here's the NASDAQ. NASDAQ was having the same kind of wedging. Right here, you can see all the volume is much lower than where it was selling off, right over here. So we'll just have time. We'll have to tell if this is a danger sign or not. Here's the equal weight in the NASDAQ, it's up 0.38%. That's a pretty good volume right here on the equal weight. That was good to see. Let's move over to small capitalization stocks. Pretty flat for today, up 0.29%. Has cleared the declining 20-day, declining 10-day, and the 50-day here. So we'll just have to continue to see in a lower rate environment. Small capitalization stocks a lot better. It's been a long time since they have led anything. Dow Jones is where most of our industrials are. They're up 0.32%. So we're going to move on to the news from yesterday. We missed it yesterday, so we're going to share today the bull bear spread in American Association of Individual Investors, AAII weekly survey was 13.6 versus 3 last week. Bulls rise to 42.5 from 40.5. Neutrals rise to 28.6 from 22. Bears fall to 28.9 from 37.5. Britain's economy showed gross domestic product, GDP, grew 0.6% in the second quarter of 2024 after a 0.7% expansion in the first quarter, which was the fastest in more than 2 years. But in June alone, monthly output growth slowed to 0 from 0.4 in May. Now on to our stock news, and the consumer comes first. Alibaba. Alibaba is rising. Quarter one revenues rose 4% year over year to $243.2 241 or $33.47 billion below consensus estimate of 249.85. Total Taobao and Tmail group revenue 113.371, up 22% quarter over quarter. So that is the story there. It did relatively stay stable, and you can see it's actually rising quite a bit today. Earnings were down negative 6% year over year quarter. It's up 5.22% today. Nike, I believe they got a big purchase from one of big pharmaceutical ETF giants. We'll see if it, yeah, it says it right here. Shares rise at Pershing Square's William Ackman built new stakes in Nike during second quarter, according to regulatory filing revealing Ackman's hedge fund owns 3.04 million Class B shares of the company. And it's moving up 1.53% on that news. Ulta Beauty shares rose overnight after a quarterly filing showed Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway acquired a sizable stake in the cosmetic store chain worth $185.4 million. That is moving up 3.3% after moving up, gapping up yesterday. Onto energy, industrials, and materials. Deere Incorporated, John Deere, the green tractor company, quarter three EPS 6.29, topped consensus of $5.63 actually, as higher prices helped shield profits from slowdown in demand, new machines, and declining crop prices and high borrowing costs. Quarter three net income fell 42% year over year. So it is moving on up. Saw the big move yesterday. Earnings were down 38% year over year quarter. They're up 0.54% today. Origin Materials, quarter two adjusted EPS, 14-cent loss versus a 12-cent loss estimate. And stock is actually going up quite a bit today. It's a penny stock, up 27%. Titan Machinery. This is an area from my youth, the headquarters in North Dakota, I believe. Shares tumble, guides quarter two EPS around 17 cents on sales of $634 million below consensus of 60 cents and 696 million, saying lower commodity prices and sustained high interest along with mixed growing conditions across our footprint have negatively affected farmer sentiment, resulting in lower agricultural equipment sales. They were down yesterday and pretty flat today, up 0.29%. And so this has declined quite a bit, 29.30 down to 13.79. Something to watch, see if it can hit in a bottoming base or not. On to financials, Capital One Financial. July domestic credit card net charge-off rate of 5.79% versus 4.478% year over year. Auto net charge-offs were 5.97, 30-plus day performing frequencies for a rate for auto 2.11 at July end, and 30-plus day performing delinquencies rate for domestic credit card 4.28% at July end versus 3.95% year over year. Let's see if this one comes up. Not sure. Klarna, here's picking Goldman as lead bank for the U.S. IPO. That is why it's not coming up. It's not yet on the market. Healthcare, the U.S. government will save $6 billion in the first year from lower prices. The Biden administration negotiated on 10 top-selling prescription drugs for the Medicare health program for older Americans. Officials said the administration said people covered by Medicare, which mostly serves American age 65 and over, would save $1.5 billion in out-of-pocket costs for the prescription medicines that year. So we'll see if that actually comes through. Array, quarter four EPS 3 cents versus 3 cents on revenues of 134.289 million. Accuray develops radiosurgery radiation therapy systems that deliver precise high dose radiation. This is a penny stock. And it continues up today. On to Avity Biosciences, 7.32 million share secondary price at $41. Off 1.10% today. It was up yesterday on the news. On to J&J, the big biomass drug company, was twice blocked in New Jersey from getting bankruptcy protection from one of its units to resolve billions of dollars in cancer claims tied to a baby powder use. For its third try, the company is eyeing Texas, Bloomberg News reported. Roche turned down a potentially $14 billion a year weight loss pill that is now being developed by Eli Lilly. Roche is up 0.32%, and let's take a look at Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly is pretty fat. It is another worry about this being wedging. As you can see, volume is lower, but we'll just have to continue to watch that. Eli Lilly is big leader drug company. So this is located in Indianapolis, Indiana. On to Cisco, Technology, Media, and Telecom. Q4 adjusted EPS 87 cents versus 85 cents. It's rising on this, pulled back to the 200-day moving average yesterday and is bouncing today up 2.23%. JD.com, Q2 adjusted EPS $1.29 versus 85 cents. And Lumentum Holdings was a big riser yesterday. Q4 adjusted EPS 6 cents versus 3 cents. Huge gap up over here. You can see that right there. Down 0.63% today. So that's all of our news that we got to report from yesterday, actually. Didn't get any news in today. See what our morning daily routine brings us. Well, sure if this Singulate, actually. Singular was a telephone company in the 2000s that got bought out. Singulate is focused on developing precision time release platform to treat attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It is up 315%. Take that to the bank. That is simply amazing. Let's look at it on the 60-minute chart. It has jumped from 2 to 20. I am not sure if there's any news here that doesn't show any news here. I have to look further into this because that is simply amazing. And moving on, Celebrite DI provides digital intelligence. I guess that's what the DI stands for, by delivering software and services for legally sanctioned investigation. So this has bounced into the profit zone, pulled back to the 50-day moving average, and now the earnings are up 100%, 175% earnings surprise. That would move a stock. It's up 10%. Look at the volume, up 255%. I believe this is H&R Block. Provides tax, national accounting, and business consulting services in the US, Canada, and Australia. So H&R Block went from the pivot zone to the profit zone, up 12.84% today. Big kind of move. I guess you could have sold up here for the profit. Volume is up 1,735%. Earnings are negative 8%, but it was a little over 8% earnings surprise. And so that is the story. So what are we going to look at today? We're going to look at what we actually did yesterday. Take a look at our IPO of the day. Yesterday was up 11%. Yesterday, it's got more than a 50% retracement today. as it pulls back. We did buy 100 shares yesterday. We will continue to watch this. We'll see if we're going to add any shares on what we did here. I'm just going to pull up holdings here. One of the other accounts we have, we did add a couple days ago to Netflix. Netflix continues to go up, although this sort of resembles wedging as well. It's coming out of here. 1 day of good volume, and all the rest is pretty low. I believe it was Monday, we added to LabU, kind of holding above the 20-day moving average, up 0.34%. This triple hedge ETF into biotech. Small amount of shares in AppLovin. We added Dutch Brothers. Think on a long-term basis is going to do well. We'll just continue to watch this. We got back into NVIDIA. It was last week after it cleared the 20-day, and then we added some more yesterday. It's up 1.47% today. Got into FangU. Got 200 shares of FangU. I believe it was right over on this day right here. And we're Kava Mediterranean Grill. We got 1,000 shares, got back into our 1,000 shares. I believe it was right around 90 and 994 that we got into Kava. And then we got into BitX. As we said, we're going to continue to sell longer dated options above up here as it remains in kind of a trading range. And we got stops on all of these stocks, pretty tight stops. So yesterday it stopped us out of Samsara. We're just going to remain pretty tight here. We'll see if we want to get back in here or not. We'll just continue to watch, see what kind of pattern comes up here. We are continuing to watch coin to see if we want to add coin. RMD is when we continue to hold in another account. And now let us just go and see what's cooking under the hood of the S&P 500. This is where the S&P 500. This is the financial group, up 0.62%, up 0.48. Oh, I'm just going to look at Meta. Meta is doing a little bit of a pullback. We put METU on, I believe it was right around here. We'll just see if this can continue to move up. Really like the volume and the chart on Meta. Sold off pretty hard here, but it's bounced back. The one drawback is once again kind of low volume, whether this is wedging or not. So that is Meta. There's communications where Google Meta are residing. Utilities continue to hold up pretty well. Real estate, it's pulling back to its 50-day, actually it's 10-day moving average. 50-day is quite a bit lower. Here is our biotech, pretty flat for the day. Our other biotech holding up right about there. Semiconductor sold off and then is bouncing back, pretty flat for the day. Kellanova, this is a stock that looks like got a cash offer right over here. This is in consumer staples area. Consumer discretionary, this is where Tesla and Amazon are located. Healthcare, holding up pretty good. Infrastructure, going back a little bit. Industrials, holding up pretty strong. Materials, mining and metals, holding right about its 200-day moving average. Airlines, airlines don't look too good at the moment. This is our travel, kind of gap up from the declining 10-day moving average. We'll see if it can get above the 20-day. Here's the regional banking. Here's the other banking. So looks like it's holding up pretty well. We got a gap up right over here, gaps up above the 20-day moving average. Here's our insurance. Continues to perform pretty well. It's right in the pivot zone. Good place to buy this was as it bounced off the 20-day moving average. Solar. It's just fighting to see if it can perform a bottoming base down here. Home builders. Software. Software is starting to firm up a little bit here. See how CrowdStrike is doing. If it's working on a bottoming base, the big thing to watch out for is the earnings. See how bad they're going to be hit with all the problems that they caused when knocked out all those businesses, Microsoft, airlines, and etc. Take a look at who their competitors are and how they're doing, if they're filling the void. Cyber, and I guess Palo Alto Network. Sentinel, recent IPO. Interesting, Palo Alto Network, a big kind of sell off here. XLK Technology, getting to his 50-day moving average. Whether this is wedging or not, that's a big question. 2B, we'll just have to see how September rolls. And that is, and these are our two favorite ETFs, FANG-U, LabU at the moment. That is our show for today. Mornings with Michael is brought to you for information and educational purposes only. Reminder to do your own due diligence, find out what is right for you. We'll continue working and trying to find hidden gems over the weekend, and we'll have our weekend update on Sunday. Remember to check into that, and we'll see what warning signs we have ahead of us. So thanks for tuning in. Everybody have a great Friday. Finish the day strong. And remember, keep working on your goals and activities, and you'll be amazed where you end up.